Today we're going to talk about the concept of unity consciousness. So, this is one of the terms that you may hear on your awakening journey, and if you're like me, I was kind of confused, and so we're going to talk about exactly what that means. So, unity consciousness, the basic concept is this term that you may have also heard called we are all one. And how does that relate to us if we are actually individual people? How can we all be one? So, how I like to think about it is I kind of look at Source or God as kind of like this sun, kind of like a round sphere, and that, we're kind of all fractals of this one source. So, that is the basic idea of unity consciousness, meaning that we are all from the same source. So, of course, we're individuals, but we are really all the same. And when you think about our own journey, and this is one of the things that you may kind of start to understand, at least this is my perception, is when you think about somebody else, you really need to think of them as it's really just you. It's you looking at yourself, you looking at a reflection of yourself. And one of the things that I always think about is the concept of karma. And you may have heard of how, you should treat everybody, as, you would like to be treated. And that is because basically we are one. We are the same, from source. So if you hurt somebody else, you're actually just hurting yourself. And, that ties into a lot of different laws in the karmic world. And so it's one of those things where, I think we're kind of, as we're waking up, we've always kind of looked at other people as individuals, that they're not related to me, they don't have anything to do with me. But as you start to kind of just look at everybody as these are all, everybody is individual fractals of God. And, I don't want to get too biblical, but, you've always heard the term, from Jesus saying, they know not what they do. And that kind of ties into it, is that, you kind of need to start looking at individuals as all sparks of God, that we all have this divine creation within ourselves. And that is what also ties into the word namaste, which is, the divine within me sees and recognizes the divine within you. So that's kind of the basic idea of it, that, we are basically all sparks of God. Even though, we're all individuals, ultimately we all kind of come from the same source. So that is the basic gist of unity consciousness. So I remember a long time ago, when this was even before my awakening, I remember hearing about this term, and I just thought, this just doesn't make sense. Why are we all one if we're individuals? And I actually remember having a conversation with a coworker, and I just think it's funny how sometimes you get into these deep conversations with your coworkers about some of these deep topics, but that can happen. But basically, unity consciousness is just about understanding that, as you go along your journey, you will start to, I guess, align less and less with seeing other people as separate or different from you. That, we're all on this journey. We're all in different phases of recognition of, a lot of these concepts. And so it may be, something that, it will really help you as you go through your journey to stop judging people as much or being critical of other people. And, and along those lines, I will say the other thing about it that I find to be very important is, understanding that as these individual fractals of source, we are not meant to be the same. We are not meant to have the same perspectives. We are not meant to have, you know, judgment against other people for their thoughts or views, because this is what Source is doing. It's experiencing itself. And, everybody is entitled to have their own perspective. And so it always, surprises me when people get up in arms when people have differences of opinion, because that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, imagine how boring the world would be if we were all the same, if we all thought the same, if we all had the same beliefs. I mean, that would be pretty boring. I mean, that would be pretty creepy, honestly. So that's another way to think about it, is that, this will help you pull back judgment about, well, this person thinks like this. I don't agree with them. That's fine. People can have the different thoughts that they want to think. They can believe what they want to think. They can, it will help you understand to, pull back that energy that you may put out towards some of these judgments about other people, or other people having different opinions or perspectives on you, is a recognition that, we're all on this journey. We're all sparks of God. We're all divine creators. And yes, obviously, along with that territory, you will see that, I just heard somebody the other day talk about, well, that evil person over there, they're not me. And I understand conceptually what they're talking about, but it's a recognition that each soul has their own journey, and it's not for us to judge, whether or not somebody's doing something that is in alignment with what we believe or not. And I think, the longer that I have been on this journey, the more I have been able to distance myself, and it brings you a lot of peace when you do not put so much energy and emphasis on other people, what other people are doing with their lives, what other people's beliefs are. It really gives you a sense of freedom, and, allowing other people to do their own thing, to walk their own path, will just help lighten up your own energy, because every time you give energy towards these types of thoughts of judgment or criticism, or focusing on people that don't align with what you think, you're giving away your energy. And, we want to keep our energy. We want to focus on ourselves and focus on being the best person that we can be. So that's it for today. I just wanted to share that concept of unity consciousness. It is a term that you will hear along your journey. So make sure to subscribe for more spiritual videos. Thanks.